Welcome to Talmudic Treasures. Today we're learning Chagigah, page 4, which discusses the different individuals who are not obligated to go ascend during the pilgrimage festivals of Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot to Yerushalayim and bring various offerings. One of those individuals, as is mentioned in our Mishnah, is someone who is a shota, namely someone who unfortunately is mentally deranged, someone who has difficulties with their mental capacity. And that person is not only exempt from going to Jerusalem, actually they are exempt from all mitzvos, because the Torah, when we have a mitzvah, or 613 exactly, is not a good deed. A mitzvah, in fact, is something which is an obligation, something you must do. Now, God is not going to ask you to do things if it is beyond the scope of your abilities to do them. And therefore, someone who is rendered a shota, according to Jewish law, is therefore not going to be obligated to do them. It doesn't mean that they can't do the mitzvot, but they're not obligated to do it, which again shows the sensitivity of understanding that a person with such limitations, we're not going to force them or tell them they must do something which is really beyond the scope of what they're capable of. The question is, what is a shota? So the Talmud actually gives a few explanations. One is maybe it's someone who does things which are quite unusual. At least in those days, someone who would walk outside by themselves at night, which was extremely dangerous, or a person who would be caught sleeping in a cemetery, or if you would see them ripping their garments. Now, the Talmud on this page actually tells us what is considered to be the most acceptable approach, which is a person who will lose anything that you give to them, anything that has value. If you hand it to that individual, they just completely lose it, as though it has absolutely no meaning. So if you give them thousands of dollars and they just take it and throw it in the garbage, that is what is rendered as a shota. The difficulty or problem with that is that if we are true to ourselves, we may not necessarily fall directly under the halachic guidelines of being a shota, but so many times we also do the same thing. How often do we kill time? We waste the beautiful resources that we have. God gives us blessings and we squander them. Instead of using them to the best of our abilities or to share them, we just decide not to use them as well as we can. And therefore, we have to learn from this not to lose what we are blessed to be given.